You're listening to the Tony Conley Morning Show on 1320 WILS, 1320WILS.com. More women now than ever own guns. Nearly 79% of firearm retailers reported an increase in female consumers between 2011 and 2012. This is according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Let's learn a little bit more about this from Kirk Evans, who's a 1320 WILS and Fox News radio legal expert. He's an attorney who specializes in Second Amendment issues and is a nationally known gun rights advocate. Kirk, how are you?
I'm very good. Good morning.
Tell us about this new report.
Well, a gun has always been a good self-defense tool for women. Women are inherently more susceptible to physical violence and physical attack just because, on average, they tend to be smaller and less strong than their potential attackers. Well, what we see now is now guns are more available, and more folks are getting concealed carry permits, and so it just makes it more and more likely and logical that women have access to handguns as a means of self-defense.
Also, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, there's a surge in popularity in classes on how to shoot, in specialized apparel for women, custom firearms, shooting group memberships, and so on for women.
It certainly has gotten, there's a little more cachet to it. Now you can buy, purses specialized for your gun. And it's obviously a good thing to take training. It doesn't do anybody any good to just buy a gun, stick it in your purse, and forget about it. Obviously, it's a good idea to know how to use it and then know how to use it accurately.
You think this will give a little bit more push for the NRA? Will these women join the association?
There are a substantial number of female-only gun groups around the country. Girl and a Gun, gun clubs just with women, shooting activities and contests just for women. So that is obviously on the uptick.
Do you think we'll continue to see the trend of more women carrying?
I think so. I don't see any reason why we would see it go the other way.
Kirk, I wonder how many folks are like me. I grew up in an environment just outside of Detroit called Mount Clemens, and guns down there just seem to be taboo because of all the gun violence. And as I've gotten older, especially as my wife is home and we live in a rural area, my mind has opened up more to this about getting my wife and my two boys gun training and perhaps having guns in the house. Are more people becoming this way from your perspective?
Wow, I've got the perfect perspective on that. I grew up in a no-gun house. And yet last weekend I took my 11-year-old and 13-year-old to shoot handguns at a range. So, yes, that's becoming the trend, and it's just, sort of middle class America is leaning more toward gun ownership.
Why is that?
I think, one, I guess the sort of stigma has started to go away. Almost every state has passed some form of concealed carry, and despite 20 years ago, the story was if you pass concealed carry, there's going to be blood in the streets. And basically what you've seen is state by state by state, there's been no blood in the streets. In fact, just the opposite.
You think there's been much debate here in Michigan about concealed or open carry in regards to going into schools, into libraries, into public venues like that. What's your take on that?
That's going on all around the country, and it's a form of political speech, essentially. These folks are trying to make a political point. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of times, nobody in particular wants to see a guy with a, AR walk into some place he shouldn't be. But it's political speech, and if we don't like it, well, we just have to appreciate it for what it is. And that's what these folks are trying to make a point about.
How's that addressed in the Second Amendment?
Well, the Second Amendment says everybody's got the right to bear arms. Obviously, the different states regulate that differently. The states, even though you have the right to bear arms, every state has said, and every court has said, well, okay, within reason, you've got some ability to regulate it. So states are completely permissible in barring guns in certain areas versus others. But the Second Amendment provides some backstop that you have an inherent right to have your gun for protection.
All right, Kirk, before I let you go, I, too, have 13 and 11-year-old sons. they haven't had much experience, but they have a great curiosity about getting out to a shooting range. What suggestions would you give us who have young children who haven't experienced the use of guns? Point us in the right direction, if you would.
I would have someone who knows guns very, very well give them a, say, 30-minute to an hour training session. Nothing loaded, nothing shooting, nothing firing, but just the absolute basics of, never put your finger on the trigger. Every gun is loaded. Don't point it at something you don't want to shoot. Those kind of safety mechanisms, go through that for at least 30 minutes to an hour before you even touch the gun.
Kirk Evans is the 1320 WILS and Fox News Radio legal expert. Kirk, thanks so much.
Very good.
And thank you for listening to the Tony Conley Morning Show on 1320 WILS.